If he pushes on my shoulder, I let it go. He's making my arm swing, he's making my shoulder lift. This all happens, some just jelly. So what I do is, as his force touches, it's sort of like surfing. I put my surfboard on the edge of the wave and I ride it, and I give it a little bit of my own juice, but he's doing most of the work, and it makes my arm lift. But my Tai Chi form is coming into shape, and I'm letting it go through optimal shapes as I ride the energy. Now, if I made him do 100% of the work, you push, that would happen. And if I loosen a little bit more, now my body is absorbing more of the force before I dissipate it. That means if he's punching really hard, it's going to go and then dissipate. So what I do is I get the leading edge and I move with it, and I stretch my body so I give it a pathway so I can ride the energy out, and that will just remove the energy. So I'm letting this stretch to my hand, and I ride the energy so that the energy can come out of my hand, and I'm setting up the positions in my body for that to happen. So that's the most efficient way for the least amount of impact here. If I let him come in a bit more, and as he pushes, I drop my hip, stretch my spine. This comes to the second method, where I relax and release using an internal model. So I'm tuning into the feeling of life force. His energy touches, and I absorb into the feeling of life force as I sink. So a partial percentage is dissipating out. Another part of the percentage is going down and giving me a potential for a counter force. So I can put that energy back into him. So as I drop, I send the energy down, and less energy is being dissipated through my arms, and more energy is being absorbed into the life force and into the root. Then the third method of neutralizing is where I don't want to lose a drop of his energy. As he pushes in, I send it all back to him. There's a slight increase in pressure on my feet, but I don't want it to reach my feet. I don't want to ground it into the earth and lose it. I want it to get fully absorbed into my fascia, into my life force, and return. So every time I'm touching here, I'm in reality taking his force, bang, and taking it from the speed he's giving me, absorbing it and sending it back at him at the speed I want him to receive it at. So in this case, I'm doing it slowly, he can put it in fast, and I have to transform and return it at a rate at which my rate of relaxation will allow me to do that. Or he can put it in slow, I absorb and send it back fast. So you can, once it's stored in the body, you just add a little bit to it and fire it at a speed at which is appropriate for you. So you can change the rate. You can do it at exactly the same rate. He feeds in slow and I rebound slow. What I don't want to do is drop it on the ground, because then I've lost it. But if I drop it into my body, I can keep most of it. So I've got to load it into my stretch. And my skeletal structure is the frame of a slingshot. The elastic is my fascia, and I drop it down on the frame, and the elastic stretches and absorbs all the force, and a minimal amount gets pushed into the ground. So I want to keep as much of his force in my stretch and energy as possible. So the three methods. One, you ride the energy and you just release. And the second method is you send it down and you neutralize, going downwards. And when you're going down, you're filling your body with spherical energy. So as he pushes, you tune in to life force and you neutralize, and your rebound potential is there. And you're just sending it down to the ground through your life force, absorbing as much of it as you can. So a certain amount gets lost and a certain amount rebounds. And then you set it up for the rebound, and you're focusing on how you're going to neutralize and discharge it in the third stage. You want to train all three of these, because sometimes you don't want the energy, you just want to ride and dissipate it off. You don't want to return, you don't want to hit a person with it, you don't want to absorb it, you just let it go. And that's a scenario where you're walking down the street, someone bumps into you, and it's sort of like, ooh, just let the energy go. Just